I cannot believe that we are wrapping up Chemtrails over the country club already. It feels like I've only been on this Lana journey for like a month. It's been so accelerated, but it's been 6 months. We've gone through, I don't even know how many albums. I don't know how many albums Lana has in her discography, but I know we have two left. We have Blue Banisters and we have Ocean Boulevard. I don't even know the full title because I just call it Oceans Boulevard. I will learn, but we're not there yet, okay? And we will also do the AKA Lizzie Grant as well in there somewhere. So don't worry. By the way, hi, welcome to Passion Dump of an Autist. My name is Val. If you like Lana Del Rey content, music content, commentary, tier rankings, reactions, essays, things like that, if you also like tarot, I do that as well, then this is the right channel for you. I basically just do everything that I have a passion for and share it over the internet. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I also have a Patreon where I put up my uncut reactions, keep you guys updated. We can chat together if that sounds interesting. It also supports the channel so that I can actually continue doing this. Anyways, if that sounds good to you, then make sure to visit the link in my description. So today we are wrapping up by doing a tier ranking. A lot of times I do this live and it's just been a weird last few weeks if I'm being completely honest with you. And so I just wanted to do it quick. I get chatting, which I love, is my favorite part about doing the lives, but it also goes on for sometimes 4-5 hours and I just don't have the energy. So I've written down my notes. Let's really quickly go through the categories. So my God tier, and you will notice that most of the categories just mean that I really like the song. Because usually in my Lana Del Rey ranking, I haven't come across a bad song. I've come across songs that are not as interesting to me personally, and I still like it and still think that it's a good song. So yeah, most of the categories are just good. Uh, but just for fun, I put in some dark ones, but some not so good ones. So the God tier, this is top tier Lana Del Rey songs. If I have to say my absolute favorite of her entire discography, I'm putting those songs in this category, and I called it "And I Felt Seen," because usually the ones that I put in that top category are songs that resonate deeply with me, so it makes sense. Again, I'm not trying to be objective here. I'm just literally telling you my opinions and the songs that stick with me the most and why. The next one is White Hot Forever. This is an amazing song. This is a song that I think is just absolutely amazing, but maybe I don't resonate with it as much. An example of that might be like right now I can think of, and I might have even put this song in the God tier when I did the ranking, but now Terrence Loves You. Love this song. I think it's a perfect song. It's perfect. It's great. It's amazing. It doesn't resonate as much for me. So at this moment, I know don't cancel me for that because I know it's a huge fan favorite, but it would be in this White Hot Forever. It's amazing. It's like I want to have that on my playlist forever. But again, it's not my God tier. The next one is I Love You Lots, like Polka Dots. And this would be like the great tier. So we've got like God tier, amazing, great. It's a great song. I love it. It's great. Then we've got our Wearing Our Jewels in the Swimming Pool. Like, it's cool. We like it. It's really good. It's fun to vibe out to, just not in any of the other tiers. Then we've got Keep It Moving, Babe. That's it's good, but it's like, it might even be a skip. That's what that one is. And then Ran Into the Dark is just, it's hell. It's awful. I never want to hear it again. Okay, let's get started with White Dress. Instantly, this one is so easy for me. This is And I Felt Seen, God tier. There's never been a better song. No, I'm just kidding. And the fact that I think you guys told me that this one was basically like improvised, like she just started riffing, I guess, and came out with this song. Like that blows my mind. because I think it's absolutely genius. So this is what I wrote about White Dress. I said, such a beautiful way to begin an album. The piano quickly takes you to another place. She does that a lot, we know that, and this one is no exception. I said, her delicate vocals bring so much vulnerability and intimacy. And I know, like, some people might not like the delivery of the lines, and I totally get that, but for me, it just brings it to a place of true authenticity, and she's just speaking her heart, singing her heart, and that I appreciate. I always appreciate from her, and so I love it. It just takes that concept to another level. I love the line, thinking of a simpler time. It literally just feels like a thesis statement for, well, for the whole song, but also maybe like for her life a little bit. Thinking of a simpler time. Love it. I also like You Were My Man, felt like I got this. Ooh, just reminiscing on a time where you really knew that good things were going to happen to you. You're in that place where you're working at the diner, maybe singing in dive bars, and you're not exactly where you are, but there's this inner knowing there's something so beautiful at that moment. And to be honest, that's where I'm right now. That's where I am right now, here at 38 years old. I know I'm a little behind, but that's okay. That's my journey. But I have this knowing that things are going to get so much better for me, and it's a scary place to be, but it's very human and it's very beautiful. And so I think she looks back on that time as just, well, magical, right? Yeah, and I literally wrote, and that's the magic. And then, of course, I love the reference to White Hot. We've talked a lot about fire and flames before, but this is more specific. White Hot is even hotter than like an orange or a yellow flame that you would see. And then the line, because it made me feel like a god. And then I just picture the roller skating in the music video, and it's just like, yeah, I can totally see that. It's like you can just do anything. You feel like you've got your whole life ahead of you, and oh my God, I can't wait to see what my life has in store. It's such a beautiful, again, human moment. And the line, and I felt seen. Well, you see what I feel about that line, because obviously I've put it as my god tier representation. And I feel like her reminiscing on this time, this would have been a time where there weren't so many eyes on her. Now there's so many eyes on her. She's famous. Everybody knows her. She's pretty much a household name at this point. And so she's got all these eyes on her, but I'm not sure that she feels seen in some of the ways she did back then, which is, well, it's heartbreaking, to be honest, but beautiful. And then, of course, finishing off that thought by the lyric kind of makes me feel like maybe I'm better off. Again, heartbreaking. I love White Dress. Moving on to Chemtrails over the Country Club. Chemtrails, where do I want to put you? This is going to be a controversial opinion. Hot take. I'm going to be honest, the music video for Chemtrails is one of my favorite music videos I've watched. And if you've watched my whole journey, you'll see I get freaking excited about all of them. So that should tell you how much that music video means to me. The song, just as a song, when we're comparing to all the other songs in the album, it is I Love You Lots Like Polka Dots. Don't hate me. I love it. It's really good. It just doesn't personally affect me in the same way. I think it's a stunning song though, which is why I still put it in great, because I think it's a greatly a structured song. I think the lyrics are amazing. It really gets us thinking about a lot of different things, but for me personally, it's just not the song on the album for me. Don't worry, there's lots coming up. So this is what I said about Chemtrails over the Country Club. I love how it starts, the line, I'm on the run with you, my sweet love. It brings back that idea of that young girl who just wants to escape her shitty home life. And it's kind of neat to explore that part of herself again, because I really feel like she's coming to acceptance in this album, acceptance of all her parts. And so it's really cool to bring that girl back, that girl escaping. So I love that. I said I love the dualities in here. So just one example, but it's all over the song, obviously, like wearing your jewels and then going to the market. It's just, there are these dualities that live inside of her, that live inside of all of us, by the way, but she's just expressing hers to us. And obviously the fire and the water signs and things like that. You know, she's this big, glamorous celebrity, but she's also this hurt, vulnerable, authentic human being. Like, she lives in all of these different places. And I love that this song is bringing us that idea. And this is what I wrote. I said, two things can be true at once. She can be glamorous and authentic, serious and silly, genius and say dumb things. Fire and water. And I love the line, "You won't play, you're no fun." It just reminds me of I just want to dance with you. Like, do we have to make this so serious all the time? Let's just play and have fun. Like, that's what life is about. And I mean, obviously she expands on that idea coming up. We'll talk about that more. So I will stay hush on that for now, but I love that idea. And then also the line, "I'm not unhinged or unhappy, I'm just wild." And then we think about the wolves and having that authentic, raw, dark, and maybe not as pretty side of ourselves, and allowing that to come free as a woman is just beautiful. I also love the line, "It's beautiful how this deep normality settles down over me." Stunning. I just said, just to end my notes here, I just said, just total self-acceptance. So beautiful. Okay, Tulsa Jesus Freak. Don't hate me. I'm trying, you know what? Because I feel like I put every song in the top 2 tiers, and that is my truth. When I'm doing that, I'm not lying. That is how I feel. But I think this album affected me the most. Did it? I don't know. I think if you go back and watch that reaction, you see how personal it is to me. So I think it actually makes me more critical of songs, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. I think because it means so much to me now, and so how some songs just hit me and, change my brain chemistry, that means some of the other songs that don't do that, I feel like I can actually break them up in these tiers a little bit better than some of the other albums, to be honest. This one just hit me so personally. And so anyways, point to that is, I think Tulsa Jesus Freak is in "Wearing Our Jewels in the Swimming Pool," which again, I think is the good. Oh, it's probably better than good. It is better than good. But I also don't really want to put it in the same, maybe this has to go here and this has to go here. I don't know, because it's a great, you know what, Val? No, stick with your gut. It's good. It's fine. If you get canceled, then whatever. I'm just kidding. I know you guys allow me to just have my opinions, and I appreciate that. I'm just teasing. Yeah, it's just really not my favorite, but it is good, which is why I won't put it, definitely not going to put it in these bottom 2. Not even close. And I am close to putting it in great, because it is a really good song. But it just feels right. Like I said, just knowing what's coming up, it just feels right to me to put it there. Trust me, don't worry, stay with me, I promise you. For some reason, this album hits me near the middle to the end, where a lot of the other albums really hit me at the beginning and just the end, and some of the middle ones were like the mid-tier ones for me. This one is the mid-tier one, like the ones in the middle of the record are the ones that's like just grab me. And anyways, not to spoil, not to spoil. But I think you can probably see that if you watched my reaction as well. So I love the line, trade this body for that can of gin. I find it super interesting for many reasons that I kind of do get on with on this in these notes. So I'll just keep going. Yeah, it's kind of bringing up that idea of I can be your savior again. But then I have another thought coming up on that. I love the line, no more candle in the wind. This is obviously so interesting given all the Marilyn Monroe and Princess Di references that we've had and that we do have coming up in later songs. Ooh, yeah, this is what I said as well about this. I love how chill this one starts and then it just builds so well. So that's what I mean. Like it's still such a good song. It's such a well-constructed song. It just feels, I feel bad putting it in a lower tier. It's just, again, it's just more my resonance, not if I think the song is not as good. That's not really what we're doing here. And oh my god, and the White Hot Forever part, that is top tier. Like if it was just that part, that would go in, well, it would probably go in White Hot Forever because it's, I don't necessarily feel seen in that, but it's White Hot Forever. It's so good. It's top. I find it really interesting that there's a framing, like you get the idea of her wanting to be the savior of him again, wanting to save this man. But then you also, as the song goes on, you also get the sense that in that she's escaping from herself and her fame. And so in that, she's also getting saved from herself. So it's like she wants to save him from himself so she can save her from herself. It's a weird paradox, again, dualities, that's very interesting and very compelling. And like a little piece of heaven, I said it reminds me of her trying to find that video games simple place again, or we could say from White Dress. Yeah, just finding that simpler time. I love that line. It's beautiful. Such a good song, but in the wearing our jewels in the swimming pool for me. Okay, Let Me Love You Like a Woman. Ooh, this one's hard. This one is either in Love You Lots Like Polka Dots or in White Hot Forever. This one always starts out and I'm like, I don't know if I like this one. But then as I actually listen to it and go through the whole song, I'm like, what was I talking about? This is an amazing song. Like, so it's definitely not in God tier for me because like I said, every time I listen to it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to listen to this. But then, like I said, as I go on, I'm like, what was I talking about? This is so good. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's the slow build. It's always such a worth it payoff, but the slow build, I always start out and I'm like, I don't know if I feel like this kind of thing. But it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting song in that way for me. Ooh, yeah, I said she sounds fucking exhausted in this first verse. And that is heartbreaking. And that I do think is on purpose. There's this exasperated part of her coming out. Just again wanting to escape. I said, again, we are finding escape in a little corner in the world with a man, as she's done and already kind of express herself about and she's told that story before, but this is in a different way and it's very interesting. I think that's another thing I want to say about Lana Del Rey in general is she brings up a lot of the same themes, but they're still interesting because she's painting it in a different light. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're telling the same story but with new perspective, and that I really appreciate because you can see some artists that just keep banging over the head with the same idea and it's like that's not interesting. Like what's your new take on that now? And that's what I like about Lana is that she's always discovering new perspectives and new ways to tell kind of the same story, honestly. Which is cool because I think I've talked about this before. When you are growing and you're doing patterns, you're going and And a lot of people talk about that like, oh, they just keep going round and round doing the same patterns. But usually you are, because those are your wounds. So those are the things that you need to grow from. So you do end up doing the same patterns. But instead of just going round and round and staying, usually you're actually going round and round, but leveling up as you go round and round. So it ends up being a spiral like that, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's what she's able to capture in these albums, is we are seeing a lot of the same patterns, but we're seeing growth from the patterns still, which is so beautiful and so human, and definitely one of the reasons why I love her and her art. Yeah, beautiful, romantic. I don't care where, as long as you're with me and I'm with you and you let me. Beautiful. And then, oh my God, the let me shine like a diamond. Love that lyric as well. It feels reminiscent of the feeling of in your car, I'm a star and I'm burning through you. It has that same idea, like let me truly be the beautiful person I am. And I don't mean beautiful, it could mean beautiful on the outside, but I'm more meaning her soul. Let me share that with you. Oh my God. And obviously, I love the lyric, don't let me be bittersweet. We've obviously had a ton of cinnamon references, so it reminds me of that, the bittersweet. And then, but then it also reminds me of that line, the kerosene in my hands line from, what was kerosene in my hands from? Oh, yeah, from Cinnamon Girl. Yeah, it's from Cinnamon Girl. Duh. And we're talking about cinnamon. We're talking about bittersweet. Yeah, so that makes sense, but it gives me that same idea, is like I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to turn into that dark side of myself. I want to be soft and light and happy and joyful and sweet and innocent, and let me be that version of myself, because I will bring out that fire inside me, but I don't want to. I want to live in the water flowing with the universe side. it's I love it. Oh, and then I said, I have no idea why, but for some reason I hear one of the vocal layers in the line, I want you to come, and I want you to come, as I need you to come. You know how there's a bunch of layers and there's a bunch of harmonies on that? I swear one of them says, I need you to come. But it's like, it's so hard to hear. I actually listened to it over and over and over again when I first heard it, and then I was like, but I can't hear it. But I can hear it. It's like it almost feels subliminal. And I could be completely wrong and I could just be hearing things, but it feels like one of those harmonies says, and I need you to stay. And if that was done intentional, that is so cool. And if it's not, I feel like with her, even these things maybe that she isn't orchestrating, it's like it's still somehow is genius. And you still can find meaning out of things that maybe even wasn't necessarily meant. Like it could be some of those things where it's like people are hearing certain lyrics. I mean, I don't know if she's said whether she's done that on purpose, but even if she didn't, it's still so cool that people are able to hear different lyrics. And it kind of takes in that way, the art takes on its own thing outside of her and how she created it. And I think that's a sign of amazing art, by the way. So to me, it doesn't matter whether the artist did some of these things intentionally. It's like it just matters what we're picking up and what we're able to find in these beautiful pieces of art. I don't know. I think that's why I almost get like, I don't want to say triggered because it's not really triggered, but like, sometimes when people are like, well, this is what she said about it and this is what it means. And I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. But like at this point, it's art and she's let it go. And now I can let you know how it resonates with me. I think that's okay. I think it's okay that maybe I'm completely wrong on my interpretations. It's not wrong. It's because it's how it speaks to me and my soul, and that's the point of this reaction for me anyway. I don't know if that's the point of why you're watching it, but that's the point of what I'm doing. What my project is to share my soul with you through her art. of sharing her soul. I'm sharing my soul of how I connect to it. I guess, yeah, it's not triggered, it's more like annoyance. And it's not that I love when you guys tell me what it actually means, and I'm not annoyed with everybody. Just please don't like go back and think that, oh my god, I told her what this song meant and she's annoyed. That's not what I mean. It's really it's really none of the people that like keep coming back to my channel, because you guys know and you just tell me, and then I appreciate knowing, but it's not done in like a pretentious way. Wow, we go on rants, don't we? I don't know. You get to see how my brain works. My brain just kind of mulls over things. One of these days I'll know what I'm talking about. I love the lyric, take you to infinity. It's just a beautiful image. Beautiful image. And then, yeah, this is what I said about this one. I said, this song is like Terrence sonically for me, where it's such a slow build, but it's so worth it by the end. And I think that's what I said at the beginning of this explanation of this song, where sometimes it starts out and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have it in me to listen to this. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I listened to that, because it's so worth it. The payoff is so worth it. And I said, the bridge is stunning. And I said, the harmonies are so beautiful, which I stand with. Okay, now we start the run of, yeah, the resonance with Val. So Wild at Heart instantly is, and I felt seen. Again, that one just speaks to my soul. Well, what did I write about this? I said the intro is so calming. I said the first verse, it's such a poetic reflection of insecurities and vices, etc. And then tying it together with the realization that everything she went through brought her here to this moment is just chef's kiss, beautiful. I love the line. I love that whole part where it switches into the I left Calabasas, escaped all the ashes, ran into the dark. Beautiful line. And it made me wild, wild, wild at heart. Perfect. Perfect line. And I said, it's such a beautiful way to see how her shadows and darkness made her into the woman she is today. Again, it's such a beautiful self-acceptance here. And I also wanted to point out, I love how she sings that second wild in that first chorus. It's like raw and beautiful, and yeah, perfect. And then that line, this might be the line of the album, although I'm sure I'll say it multiple times with different lines. But this is one of my favorite for sure. If you love me, you'll love me. I wrote here, maybe the most profound lyric for me. And I said, it actually did change my brain chemistry. I said, it's so obvious, but we miss how simple love should be in some ways. If they love me, they'll love me. Like, you don't have to overthink these things sometimes. If they don't, they're gonna show you that you don't. And then it is up to you to be like, okay, bye. You are showing me how you feel about me. You know, words are nice, words are pretty. It's actions, right? It's behaviors that are important. So, and it's taken me a long time to kind of realize this. And like I said, it's so simple, but so profound, because it takes some of us, you know, me specifically, it takes me into my late 30s to really understand what that means. Obviously, if I had have listened to this in my 20s, like I would have gotten it, but I wouldn't have gotten it. Do you know what I mean by that? Like when things just like, you're like, I understand it conceptually and logically, but this I understand in my gut through life experience. There's a difference. Oh yeah, and I love that that What Would You Do, the story about her not being famous and just telling stories in the bar, just kind of trying to figure out if he loves her or for her success and fame. I love that idea that it's like a thought experiment. What would you do if this is what it was? And a completely natural and normal thing to kind of question. Ooh, I keep thinking about this too, and I didn't notice it or bring it up in my reaction, so I wanted to make sure I brought it up here and see if if you guys picked that up, if it was just so obvious and maybe that's why no one said it, or maybe I'm just out on my own planet, which happens a lot, so it's okay. But the line, and all these thoughts brought us apart, it really feels like a double meaning there, because she uses the word thoughts earlier, right? But THOT. What is it? That hoe over there? That's what it is, right? It's not a word I use. I actually had to look that up in the Urban Dictionary. That's so nerdy of me. Like, I had heard the word before, but it's not something I actively have used in my life. So it was something I'd be like, what does that actually mean? Because I knew it was a way of like, yeah, it was kind of a, I guess, slut shaming type term. I knew that. I knew the connotation, but I didn't really. Anyways, keep going. Keep that. Think about that though. All these thoughts brought us apart. And obviously, when you look in the lyrics, it is spelled like thoughts, like all these thoughts, all the thoughts that we're bringing up, and these, sometimes you make these crazy wild, like, obviously that's the like kind of more literal interpretation of it. But if you think about it as the other, it could also be all these thoughts brought us apart, like cheating, like turning your head, like I just thought it was interesting that it could be a double meaning, especially because she already put that version of that word earlier, so it just had my. And so when I was listening to it casually and I wasn't looking at the lyrics, I heard it again, like I heard it and I was like, all these thoughts, I was like, I had to go and look and see what the spelling was, because I was like, oh, is she like using that word again? And it looks like she wasn't. But I mean, the subliminal message of it all seemed like she was. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that, and if that was just obvious. And then I said the harmonies are absolutely glorious. Oh, especially at the end. So beautiful. Okay, dark but just a game. We're getting into the good stuff. Like I said, they're all good, but we're like, this is the good shit for me. So, dark but just a game. Instantly, I felt seen. This is God tier. This song is God tier. It's perfect. Okay. I said, I love how this starts, so eerie and really kind of sets up this story. I love the line, the faces aren't the same, but the stories all end tragically. Obviously heartbreaking, thinking about the 27 Club, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Whitney Houston, and even, Britney Spears, who's still with us, but maybe not with us as much. Heartbreaking. And I said, I just love the idea of expressing this anxiety, but then just deciding to keep on living as free as authentically as she can. So she's expressing that this has been a real anxiety for her to like kind of fall into this trap, but she has made the conscious decision to not let this destroy her. And it is a conscious decision. And then, oh my God, that beat drop, delicious. I love those dark beat drops that come out of nowhere. I mean, they don't come out of nowhere anymore because I expect them now, because there are several songs like that now, and it's become my favorite Lana signature, to be honest. I think, I don't know. I said the duality that this woman expresses is top tier. I said she is constantly switching between, I'm just gonna let these things flow, to I've got to get control over everything. Like, she's just wrestling the war in her mind. Done. But you can see it and you can hear it in the writing. You can hear that, and you can see that war in her mind that she's expressing. She's sharing that with us. I said, this is so human and so valid. The song title line, it's dark but just a game. I said, it's a perfect bird's eye perspective to, again, that escape. Bird's eye, like you're looking at things from a bird's eye point of view now, not necessarily in it, which is impressive. It's hard to get to there. But it's very interesting, and it's almost another way to escape in some ways. But I would argue a healthier escape from the pain, because you're still observing and you're still. Anyways, we're getting philosophical again. Yeah, I said, we know how much she cares, but this framing allows her to step back and observe. Be the observer. Music to watch boys to. She is the observer. And that's so important. And then I put a big observe versus absorb. I recently came upon a TikTok that someone was talking about that. To be an observer, like you can observe the pain, observe the horrible thing, and you should. You shouldn't just escape from it and like shut it down and like, not know what's going on. But especially for someone who feels very deeply, if you're kind of like an empath or, something like that, it's hard to find the balance of, being able to see it and observe it without actually absorbing everybody else's pain and suffering. Because it's not helpful to necessarily feel all of that. You're not going to be in your logical mind. You're not going to be able to come up with solutions. You're just going to be debilitated with the pain and suffering. So if you really want to help the people who are in pain and suffering, it's important to find that balance and to be the observer, not the absorber. I don't know. That changed my brain chemistry when I heard that, because I'm an empath and I can fall into the trap of feeling everybody else's emotions, and it's not necessarily healthy all the time. So you have to protect yourself as well. But again, not by closing your heart off, not by, becoming apathetic instead of empathetic. It's finding that balance of, keeping that empathy, but again, observe, not absorb. Hopefully that helps somebody, because that helped me when I heard it. And I said, it feels like how you could, yes. And this is where I start getting in, because this is where it resonates with me, is because I've always kind of been on a spiritual awakening like my whole life. I've kind of been aware of some of these things, but I do just keep like leveling up in consciousness, or however you want to say it. And this song feels like how you could describe, or how someone who's been through kind of a major spiritual awakening, how they could describe that mindset shift. Again, I said it's seeing things from the observer perspective and then just deciding to have fun in the game or the matrix of it all. And then I said, and ending on, but just, and not saying a game, I found is so interesting. And it makes me think of when you do go through this process of this mindset shift, there's so many times when you go through and you're feeling so sure about your beliefs, like this is it. I know, I understand life now. I know what I'm supposed to do. And then you just get sucked back into the game, and you have to work to pull yourself back out of it again, because the fact of the matter is, where we are on this earth, it is real. There is real pain and suffering. So it's interesting calling it a game, because it helps you take yourself out a little bit of it. And so that can be helpful, but also, again, balance. Balance is the key. So understanding certain things, understanding a big picture things, bird's eye view, being the observer, but then also we are living in reality. We do need to be grounded as well. Balance. And I just said, it's exhausting. But yet it does feel like this song perfectly encapsulates that idea. I don't know. Maybe I'm just on my own island, and that's okay if I am. I'm having a great time in my own island. Okay, not all who wander are lost. Also, God tier for me, and I felt seen. I don't think I've ever felt more seen than listening to this song, if I'm being honest. I said, oh my god, the lyric, I love how it starts. I've been wearing the same damn clothes for 3 damn days. And then after doing all that, thinking about what Dark But Just a Game was about, or at least how it resonated with me, it was so interesting to then go straight to this song where it starts out like that, and it feels like that idea that we were just talking about, where you're pulled back into the game and you're wearing the same damn clothes. That it feels like depression to me, because you're like now you're just lost in your feelings, lost in this 3D world, and it's scary. But it's such a cool way to transition from that song to this song. I love the lyric, "The thing about men like you is you got a lot to say, but who will stay?" And it just feels like that idea of words versus actions that we've already talked about, right? Words are great, words are nice, but I want to see the action of you actually just staying. Be the first one who ever did, right? I also love the line about talking to God and knowing the same secrets. It just feels like she's always been looking for her soul family her whole life, and that's so relatable. Yeah, let's. Sorry, I think this is where I started like basically channeling and just writing my thoughts. I said she's always known she was different and has been looking for people who are looking to free their souls as well, because there's a lot of people that aren't interested in doing that work, and so it feels lonely sometimes. And then the lyric, "Not all who wander are lost," obviously. But again, this is where I just wrote a bunch of shit, so I'm just gonna read it, okay? I said, "From someone that's stuck in that game, stuck in the system, seeing someone kind of live their life outside of that box, it's almost offensive to people like that. The system always pushes back. It just does. And that line and this song feels like a line of comfort to those of us who have been the black sheep or the lone wolf all of our lives, saying, you're not actually lost. You're just actually doing what you're meant to do as a soul, having a human experience. Explore, discover, grow, change, feel, experience. It's such a comfort because I've always been like that. I've never really been able to work within the system, within the game. I've always been terrible at the game because it feels like a game and it feels stupid to me. A lot of it. A lot of it is stupid, in my opinion. And so it's hard to wrap your head around how to fit into that game that you think is stupid. But you have to play that game because otherwise, like, what are you doing? Because you are here to live and experience and grow and change, and that game is going to help you do all those things. So you have to find a balance between thinking it's stupid and being like, wow, but I actually have to fucking do something though. Yeah, it's hard. I'm still figuring it out. Probably always going to be figuring it out. Yeah, and I said, you are actually the ones winning the game. You're actually playing it. Congratulations. So many people, I think, go through their lives, and this is not me saying anybody's better than anybody. That's not what I'm saying. So don't misunderstand me here. But there are people that kind of go through life and don't necessarily think about life and just kind of and don't question things and just, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what society tells me I have to do, so I'm going to do it, I'm going to do all the things, checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. And you don't question and you kind of just go through life. And if people are, and maybe that is their life's purpose, maybe that's what they need to do, and that's fine. That's why I say I'm not judging it. But as someone who just can't relate to that experience, I don't know, this song feels so, it resonates with me so much because I feel so seen in it, because this is what I've been wrestling with my entire life. And believe me, I was in the system for a long time doing the 9 to 5 and doing all that, and it just feels impossible for me now. It feels impossible. So we'll see. We'll do what we had to do, but we'll see. Uh, and I said, and the layering that comes in just feels more comforting, because it's like, yes, I know that you're the lone wolf and the black sheep, but there's a lot of us out here and we're all connecting now. It's beautiful. I love the line, because every time I said no, it wasn't quite what I meaned. And I love that she says meaned and not meant. I don't know what you guys, how you interpret that, but I'm just going to give you how I interpret that. But this is how I see it. It feels like her duality again, and expressing that duality again. It's interesting because in a song that's so deep and almost has like, it feels like ancient wisdom in it, deep ancient wisdom. She's become vulnerable again, speaking almost like how a toddler would speak. Obviously, that's not how you would say it grammatically, so that's why I said, and I don't mean that with disrespect. I think I love it. I think it's genius. I said it's fucking brilliant and beautiful because it's like she's able to show that vulnerable side of her again. I don't know. That's how I interpreted that, and I think it's on purpose, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's hilarious that we have like a little upside down L here. So cool. Okay, Yosemite. That one is also, and I felt seen. I told you guys we'd have a run of amazingness. I said, this song quite literally puts a spell on me. I feel it in my soul on a deeper level than I can even express in words, which is true. I do try. I do have a whole page to express in words, but I do find it hard because to just express how much it means to me. I said, this song helps me understand the flow on a deeper level. I said, I am a perpetual, so this is all me personally, how I resonate with it, okay? I am the perpetual butterfly, the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's how I've been my entire life. I said, I've changed and lived multiple lives in such a short time on Earth. And I mean that. I mean physically, like with careers and things like that as well, but also in relationships, but also in my relationship with myself, but also, you know, like I've just lived so many different lives. I can't even express to you, like you guys don't even know the half of it, right? But I do talk a lot about my story and my experience, but like I can't even give it all to you guys because we don't have enough time. Yeah, I said, this song reminds me to slow down and stop controlling that change and just let it happen naturally. Because sometimes I get in these, like, I'm really into personal development and I gotta do this meditation and I gotta do this tarot and I gotta do this. And the song reminds me that I don't need to push it, I don't need to force it. Like, it's great to have these tools, but you can just actually live your life too. Like, that's okay. And you will just naturally grow and change as well without like really forcing things. So I love that about it because again, I'm all about balance and sometimes I can take it to the extreme the other way. And this song grounds me. And I need to be grounded. I need to be grounded. I love the line, you make me feel like I'm invincible, just like I wanted. No more candle in the wind. It feels like sitting in your power instead of your fear. I also love the line, we did it for the right reasons. Obviously, I said that means everything in my opinion. As long as you're doing it for the right reasons, I don't care. I don't care what you do almost. Because that's not true. Sorry. I don't want to be that extreme, that black and white, because that's not true. But it's important because I feel like if you are doing it for the right reasons, then you will find the lessons. So even if you do something wrong or bad or, you know, not ideal, if you're in that mindset of doing it for the right reasons, hopefully you'll be open enough to kind of learn from those lessons and learn from those things, right? You're already kind of in the right mindset if you're doing it for the right reasons. So I love that idea. The lyric, one of the best lyrics too, in my opinion, the only thing we'll turn is the pages of all the poems we burned. It just feels like owning your choices and letting go of the what ifs. Again, self-acceptance. I also love the line, television static was quite overwhelming. I said it makes me think about all that outside noise that kind of blocks you from finally finding yourself sooner rather than later. All that noise, all, you know, everybody's telling you to be this, do this, blah, blah, blah. That's all outside noise. It feels like television static to me. And it is overwhelming and it is blocking you from being your true, authentic self, which, in my opinion, is the most important thing to do as a soul with a human body, having a human experience. I also love the line, withstand. Oh, and this is, yeah, near the end. Yeah, withstanding all the time, changes, and seasons. Beautiful. Okay, breaking up slowly. I am so tempted to put it in Keep It Moving. But it's a good song. Like, it is good. It's one of these. For me, I'm gonna say my truth. I'm sorry, don't hate me. I don't think it's a bad song, so don't think that that is bad. That doesn't mean bad, because I don't think it's a bad song. But for me, when it comes on, I'm like, okay, keep it moving, babe. Keep it moving. It's just not my favorite. It just isn't, compared to the rest of the album too. It's just not my favorite. Hi, Beryl. I don't know. It's definitely a vibe, and I really like. Well, let's see. What did I say? I said it's such a vibe from the beginning, and it really is. It definitely paints a picture. That's what I mean. I still think it's a good song because it does all that. It still allows me to be immersed in a scene. I'm just not super interested about that scene. Does that make sense? So again, it's not me saying it's a bad song. It's me saying I don't personally enjoy the themes or the song. I do love the line, it's hard to be lonely, but it's the right thing. Love that line, and through experience makes a lot of sense to me. And it's a hard thing to do. I said it's beautiful, but its content is weak, in my opinion, compared to the content of other songs on this record. But then I also said, but it does seem to serve kind of a bit of a palate cleanser for me after a lot of these heavy songs. So we've got, what were they? 4 songs that are like I'm bawling through because they mean so much to me. And then we come to that song and it does kind of feel like a breath of fresh air. So in that, I wouldn't take it off the record. I think it's beautiful and it's perfect where it is. But again, just compared to the content of these 4 songs specifically, it just doesn't compare for me. So we and but it's like short too, so it's perfect. It is, because it's like we do keep it moving. We keep it moving. It's good. It's a good palate cleanser, and then we move on to another amazing song. Uh, don't hate me. I said, just to wrap it up, I said I like it. I don't love it. It is what it is. And we still have the backward L. That's hilarious. Okay. Dance Till We Die. Ooh. I think that's gonna have to be White Hot Forever. It's close to And I Felt Seen. It could go in there because I do like it a lot. But I'm also fine with it being in White Hot Forever. I said the lyric would keep it moving, babe. One of my favorite lyrics. I said, this has quite literally become an affirmation for me, and it has. Sometimes when I'm having a really hard day, I just say to myself over and over again, we keep it moving, babe. We keep it moving, babe. We keep it moving, babe. And it makes me feel better. I also said, when I am feeling shitty, like doing a bunch of like super highly positive affirmations don't always work for me. And it almost feels silly and inauthentic. If that works for you, I am not knocking that by any means. Like, please don't think that I am, because I'm not. It just doesn't necessarily always work for me. Sometimes it does, but not all the time. Sometimes I just need a let's just keep it moving reminder, because, well, I said I like to feel emotions and then let them go, and this helps me do that. Instead of, sometimes if I just like try to put all these positive affirmations that I don't actually really believe in my soul, it almost feels like escaping a little bit from those emotions, where keep it moving just means, like, for me anyway, how it works in my brain is like, yeah, we're here, we're having maybe a shitty day today, that's okay, but we'll keep moving, we'll feel it, we'll experience it, we'll let it go, and we'll wake up tomorrow and we'll have an amazing day. And that helps me keep it moving. And so I love that. I said, I love the bluesy vibe to this song. I love the idea of, again, observing the chaotic world around us, but not giving it your power. Super relatable in 2025. And then that little bridge change up just absolutely gives me life, and I mean that. I said it takes me out of the trance in the best way. And I said it also has a 70s vibe that is totally catered to my taste. I just love the whole thing. And for free is a cover and a good one. I'll say White Hot Forever. No, White Hot Forever for the cover. Such a good cover, man. I say this every time, but I think this is my favorite cover, and I do. I feel like every time they just keep getting better and better. But this one also, don't let me be misunderstood though. Like they're kind of on the same level, to be honest. That one really, really does it for me. Ooh, that one's so good. I'm trying to go through all of them because they've all been so good though. And they've all fit the record perfectly as well. Anyways, we don't need to go. Maybe one day we'll do a ranking of just the covers. That'll be interesting. I said the story is just so personal to me. I don't really need to expand because I think most of you that are watching this video have probably already watched my reaction. So you heard all of it, why it's so personal to me. If you didn't, I do suggest going back to that video if you do want to hear that story. And I do put everything in chapters so you don't even have to watch the whole video. Although if you like my content, you might like the whole video. I said all three ladies have such stunning vocals, and all of them are so authentic and nuanced. Like no one's trying to sound like anybody. Everyone's just doing their thing, but still blending beautifully. And I love that about singers. When singers are able to do that, and it's rare that three of them can come together and do that and still sound absolutely amazing. And they do it. It's perfect. I literally write perfection. I said the harmonies are stunning. It's an amazing song. So in general, but they just elevate it for me. And so here we go. We're done. This is the tier ranking. Holy. So yeah, this is one of the albums I think that personally affected me right from the beginning so quickly, and so it's interesting. I feel like some of the other, it's so interesting. I think it'll be really interesting to go back and try to tier rank all of them, because there are other records where I put a lot more songs in the God tier, and I think I still stand by that for the most part. But I'm wondering if compared to, because it's like some of these songs probably, especially like From Here Up, like probably could be in top tier. But just because these five meant the world, the actual world to me, it made these ones not as enjoyable for me, because these ones just like changed my life. Like on a similar level to like Ride and, some of those songs. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Anyways, I stand by it. I'm happy. I'm happy with that ranking. Let me know if you hate me, if you want to cancel me for this. Let me know down in the comments. It helps me. Thank you so much for being here and doing this with me. Next one, Blue Banisters. I think I'm going to listen to Blue Banisters tomorrow, and then it'll be up on Patreon as soon as possible. And then next weekend, or this weekend coming, by the time this video comes out on YouTube, we should be able to premiere Blue Banisters. And from what I heard, that's going to be a pretty special experience. So we'll do that. And then on the Sunday, the plan, so on Saturday, I'm going to try my best to get that video out and premiere it. And then on the Sunday, we'll do the live stream where we listen to that 2-hour Instagram live where she talks a lot about what this album means to her. But I want to listen to it first and get my own thoughts and opinions, and then hear from her. And I'm so excited for that. So join me on that. Have a wonderful day and rest of your week, and I will see you for the next video. Bye.